One member of the Robbins family who was taken to a Boston hospital last month after a fire and explosion at Robbins Lumber in Searsmont is improving. Owners Jim Robbins and Alden Robbins, along with family member Lily Robbins, were transferred to Mass General in critical condition. A Mass General spokesperson tells WABI that 2 family members are still listed in critical, while 1 is now in serious condition. They did not say which family member. The May 15th fire and explosion killed Morrow firefighter Andrew Cross and injured 12 others.